Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to look at the new game Pokemon Go for mobile devices. We're going to start off with how do you capture Pokemon. Now when you encounter a Pokemon in the wild, your phone will vibrate, or your iPad depending on what device you're using. Now on the screen you'll see a small character or avatar of the Pokemon. If you click on that, it will then engage the Pokemon in battle, as it were. So once it loads up, in the middle of your screen you'll see that you have the option for a Pokeball or your items, or to run, and you can also see the Pokemon in front of you. Now to actually capture the Pokemon, all you need to do is flick the Pokeball towards the Pokemon. I'd suggest overshotting it a little bit so it actually hits the Pokemon, otherwise it will fall short. There's a few things you can do as well. If you hold down the Pokeball, a ring appears around the Pokemon. Now if you wait for that ring to get red, then that's the best possible chance you'll have of capturing that Pokemon. Much better, especially if the Pokemon's a higher CP level. Now once you've done that, you'll also have the option to curve the ball, which gives you some kind of bonus. I believe it's an XP bonus. So if you spin as you're flicking, the ball will start to curve, and if you manage to land it and hit the Pokemon, you'll get a bit of a bonus there as well. Okay. Once you've caught the Pokemon, it will update your Pokedex, and you'll also get a candy or candies for that Pokemon. Now the candies are used to level up the Pokemon, which we'll come back to a little bit later on. You may also get some Stardust as well, which also we'll come back to later on. Now moving on to rarer Pokemon, what you'll find is when you're walking around your local town, city, village, you won't find very many rare Pokemon. You'll run into Rattatas, Pidgeys, things like that, Weedles, Caterpies, and that's because they're just a box standard common Pokemon. Now to get the rarer Pokemon, you need to venture out into the wilderness, as it were. So to your local park, fields, things like that, that's where you'll find the rarer Pokemon. So you're going to have to get out the house, walk around, and look for the best Pokemon there. Okay, now on to items. You can acquire items by walking around and finding points of interest. They're called Pokestops. Now if you look at your map, you'll see them, and they're places of interest, not major places of interest as they're turned into Pokemon gyms, but you can walk around, and as you investigate them and explore them, you get items. Now you get a circular picture of the place of interest load up on your screen, so all you need to do is spin that as if it was a coin, and then items will effectively drop out of that coin and pop up on your screen. So you click the items and you get them. The basic items that you start with, Pokeballs, things like that, incense, which lure Pokemon to your area for 30 minutes. Quite good. So most common items you can get from the Pokestops are incense lure modules. Now you place the modules in the Pokestops themselves. Underneath the description, once you've selected a Pokestop, there's a small rectangular white or grey button that you can press. If you click that, it will give you the option to put a module in there, and this module is shared to anyone in the area. So you could have 5 of your friends and 5 random people just stood near you, and they can all take advantage of the module, luring in an extra Pokemon. Okay, another item is a raspberry, and using a raspberry when you encounter a Pokemon will also increase the odds of you capturing it. It makes it easier to capture the Pokemon, so it's quite good. And the other common one is more Pokeballs. You can pretty much get an unlimited supply of Pokeballs by just walking around to the Pokestops, and they refresh quite fast, so it's probably only about 5 or 10 minutes before you can actually go back to the stops again. Okay, now leveling up, evolving and hatching. You can get eggs from Pokestops. You can also purchase them, I believe, on the money market that they have there. Now the eggs need an incubator. You start off with one when you start the game, but you can incubate more than one egg at a time. So you can purchase another incubator and do that. I do believe the purchased incubators have some kind of durability on them, so they can expire. And once you've got your egg in your incubator, you need to walk lots and lots of walking. So the pedometer on your device basically logs how many steps you're taking, and then after X amount of steps your egg will hatch, and then you get yourself a shiny new Pokemon. Leveling up. So this is where the candies and the Stardust come in. The candies are Pokemon specific, so if you catch a Pidgey, you'll get Pidgey specific candies. Now if you catch 10 Pidgeys, you'll get multiple candies that you can then use on one Pidgey, for instance. You can even get more candies by transferring the unwanted Pidgeys, so get rid of the 9 lowest levels, keep the highest level, and for each transfer you'll pick up an extra candy. So using those, you go into your bag, then into your Pokemon section, and then you can select your Pokemon and you'll have the option to upgrade or evolve. Now if you have enough candies, you can evolve your Pokemon, which gives it a massive level boost and obviously gives it the evolution form. The other option is just to upgrade them. Now upgrade costs candies and Stardust. Now your Stardust is pooled between all of your Pokemon, so if you had 500, each of your Pokemon would have the option to use that 500. If you used it on one of the Pokemon and it used 400 to upgrade, you'd only have 100 left for all your other Pokemon to share. So it's a resource that all your Pokemon can use. You get the Stardust from capturing Pokemon and Defender bonuses once you've taken over a Pokemon gym. And the candies, again, you get those from capturing Pokemon and when you transfer Pokemon. Okay, moving on from that, you have the gyms. The gyms themselves are bigger points of interest, so things like schools, churches, academies, universities, big places of interest, and you can take on the current Pokemon in the gym. Now depending on which faction you are, it's red, blue or yellow, all depends on what you can do at the gyms. For instance, if you're in the red faction and you go up to a gym that's already controlled by the red faction, you'll have the option to fight the Pokemon in there. You'll also have the option to leave a Pokemon in there that other people then can come up and fight, and you get various points and whatnot for defeating and defending. It's also another way to get Stardust as well. So if you are part of the red faction and you come across a yellow controlled gym, what you can do is fight the Pokemon that's currently in power, and you get to use more than one Pokemon this time. It's not the same if you're fighting someone on the same colour faction. So for instance, earlier on today I went to a gym close to my house. I'm part of the red faction and it was a yellow controlled gym. I managed to defeat the Pokemon that was defending. It took about 4 of my Pokemon to do so, and I had to do that twice before they lost enough reputation for me to then go and put my own Pokemon in there and capture it for the red side. So now that I've got my own Pokemon in there, other people from other factions come up and challenge that, and if they win and reduce my reputation at the gym enough, then they can take over that gym and hold it for their faction. Now also, if other red faction players come up to that gym, they can choose to fight my Pokemon, or they can choose to reinforce the gym by placing one of their own Pokemon in there as well. Okay, that's all.